What?
Subscribe.
Subscribe. We'll highlight all that. Don't you worry.
I'm just
But of
saying,
course,
you gotta remind people.
Subscribe right now.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Of course.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
All right, Ben, you're back this week, and you know I wasn't starting the show without saying let's go Birds. Bang bang Bird gang. Look at society 250 years later relying on Philadelphia to put an end to tyranny.
Look, I don't mind the Eagles just because I'm a Jets fan.
You're very pro Sirianni, which I love.
Oh, I love Sirianni. Like, I think the media, I think you summed it up the best. I think the Philly media, they just look for shit to complain about. And like they were complaining about Doug. They complained about Andy Reid, I'm sure. Chip was a little bit of a pain in the ass.
That was fair.
And based on what the players have said about him, he had to go. He kind of he had way too much power.
Yes.
But like, say what you want about Sirianni, he's not losing Kellen Moore now because Shoddy. Because Shoddy took the job. He got elevated.
Yeah, but did you see the report tonight?
About what?
The Saints are flying to Philadelphia to interview Kellen Moore in person.
I don't think he's ready to be a head coach.
I like Kellen Moore. And if he gets a head coaching job, good on him. I just, from a selfish standpoint, want Jalen Hurts to have back-to-back seasons of the same offensive coordinator for just the second time in his football playing career.
Yeah. The way I look at it, though, it's like the Giants suck, and they're going to suck. Washington, they're legit. Like, I'm one of those people. I'm a Jaden Daniels truther. I know some people just think he like runs around. It's like pure luck. I think he's like actually legit. And Dallas is just a tire fire, which I love to see. So like really it's between you and Washington at this point. And I texted a friend of mine. She's a Buffalo Bills fan. And I said, I said, I wanted to give it a day. You guys had one job. You had one job, and now we get to watch this guy walk around the field nonstop and get like I'm gonna find a video. There's a video that this guy made, and he imitates Chris Collinsworth to a T. I'm sure you've seen him, but
here's a guy.
Now here's a guy.
Oh, is it Joey Molinaro?
Oh, I think so. You know,
Patrick,
I'm not gonna say Jim. I'm not gonna say it, Jim.
Oh, Mike!
Like
between him and Romo, just like absolutely all over him. It's insane. Ethan's got a party going on.
Ethan, yeah, you
Monday night turn up.
Oh god.
College boys, but no, I'm so freaking happy that the Eagles won. And just an absolute shit pumping of that team too. To put a 50 burger up in the NFC Championship game is some diabolical shit.
Well, I think at this point, like I remember, like I kind of like laughed at you for saying Saquon should, like when you said Saquon should be the MVP. I was like, you're out of your fucking mind. It's legit.
I hate that the MVP doesn't get counted for playoff performance.
I know. I think it's ridiculous. I think it really like. I don't know. Like
I think it's different than like baseball or hockey or the NBA, where like their seasons are longer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like football, like I don't know. I think football you should have the MVP count towards the postseason because then you're also showcasing who the better players are because the better teams made the playoffs.
Yeah, I think with Saquon, if I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot of Saquon in that Super Bowl, and to be honest, I might just have to get like a Philadelphia Eagles shirt or something because
don't do it.
I cannot.
Company man,
don't do it.
Don't do it. Who do you want to win?
No one. Listen, I can't watch the Super Bowl. Like
Ethan,
I hate
Ethan,
Philly.
What?
I Yes.
Ethan's a
Why would I
Patriot.
like
One
Philly?
right answer.
Ethan,
There
you're
is
a
no
Patriots
right
fan,
answer.
right?
Okay.
You're a Patriots fan. Hear me out
Yes.
on this. I'm gonna lay something out for you. Hear me out. I'm not saying what the Chiefs are doing is touching the Patriots. And
If
their
you
success.
say that 3 Super
I'm-
Bowls puts him in the same GOAT
I'm not.
conversation as Tom
I'm
Brady,
not. I'm not. But I'm trying to help your mental sanity because you know all the talking head pundits that are not what we do here at this company are going to do if
yes, I know.
that happens. You need to root against the Chiefs' downfall. It's
I
the
know.
lesser of two evils for you.
It really is. And I do have Saquon on my fantasy team, which
Look at that.
love to see him always
Saquon
going
might be the
off.
most universally, unless you're a Giants fan, Saquon Barkley is the most universally likable player in the NFL.
Yeah,
Well, the
no,
thing
he's
is,
he's
you
so
can't-
much
He
fun to
rocks.
watch.
well, the thing is, you can't blame him for leaving. I mean, the Giants are an absolute tire fire. And like I know Steve had said, like I'm just happy that they have both the coach and GM coming back. It's a weak quarterback class. Like I don't know. I don't understand why people are so enamored with Cam Ward. I don't really think he's any good as far as like the NFL level goes.
I don't get why people are enamored with Jackson Dart.
Jackson.
Oh my god, that came out of nowhere.
Dart
I
is
saw a tweet
literally-
tonight. The guy that runs the Senior Bowl said his phone has never blown up more about the excitement of Jackson Dart committing to go to the Senior Bowl than about him. What are we
Jackson
talking
Dart-
about?
Jackson Dart is literally a poor man's Zach Wilson. They both wore the number 2 in college. They both wore blue jerseys. Both of them cheated on their girlfriends. Zach Wilson has a better arm.
Like the only like redeeming quality in my eyes about Jackson Dart at the pro level, he's all name team. He's got a great name to be an
And he
NFL
did
player.
play against- and the thing is though, like, yeah, people are gonna be like, well, he played in the SEC. Ole Miss really didn't play anyone for the first 8
No.
games this year. They didn't play anyone. Like they were such a fraudulent team, and like that's like the beauty of making your own schedule. But I'm just like, I don't know. Like it's literally going to be between you and if Washington can get it together and get Jaden Daniels some actual weapons and get him some protection on the offensive line. I think that they're a couple years away because I think they have a good GM, but they just need to draft well because historically they're not a good drafting team. That's why they've been the toilet bowl of the NFC East along with the Giants. But, I just had to throw that in there. I mean,
It's valid.
but I'm literally all of my sanity rests on the shoulders of number 26.
Same.
So,
You and me both, brother.
well,
Me
yeah,
more than you, but you and me
well,
both.
that's the thing. So, anyway,
Can we just talk about how rigged that football game was, though? That the Bills had the first down like 3 times, and then they how does that happen? That is complete BS.
Hey,
I
here's
don't know.
my thing though with all that. Shame on the Bills' offensive coaching staff for continuing to call that QB sneak. That was
Oh my
not the
God.
push. That was
no,
not the
it's
push.
not.
Not at all.
They were
You
just
have-
like using Josh Allen as a battering ram, and the Chiefs were prepared for it every single time. Change the play, guys.
So the
But
thing is,
To be fair, he went over the top and got the first down.
but here's the thing you have to understand though. The tush push with Jalen Hurts, it works because he's actually not that tall. I think on camera he just looks taller because he's so jacked. He's also a physical freak of nature. He's like 6 foot, squats 600 pounds, and he just kind of disappears in the pile. And they have a very good offensive line. Whereas, yes, Josh Allen can jump over people. He's that athletic, but he's 6'7". Okay, so you're going to see him the whole time. I think if you're Buffalo, you need to go find remember when Derrick Henry was in his prime with Tennessee, and it was like 4th and short, and it was like he was better than Marshawn Lynch. Everyone in the stadium knew you were giving it to him, and then he just rip off like a 15-yard run.
And he did it a ton this year with the Ravens.
But Baltimore is never going to give him up. Like if you're Buffalo, you need to find someone
Which
who can
I think
be
they have him. I don't know
Jared
why they
Cook is
stopped.
good.
I don't know why they stopped giving it to Cook that game. He had
Cook,
139
who was in the
all-purpose
game
yards.
at the end of that game? Who was in the because it wasn't him.
Yeah,
that
I don't
was
even.
running
I
the ball
forget who their
before.
backup is because I always think it's Devin Singletary, but it's not.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they stopped giving it to Cook. Cook was gashing them, and they just stopped using him. It was crazy and
Yeah, and he was getting a lot of stuff going in like the passing game too.
I think I don't know. Oh my gosh. And since we talked about the Eagles.
Congrats on your new coach, by the way.
Thank you.
I like Aaron Glenn.
Oh, him.
Yeah, he's not talking to you, dude.
Mike Vrabel is the most nepo baby replacement of New England Patriots lore of all time.
Here's
be another dynasty.
I got to be honest with you. I like the GM hire and I like the head coach hire. And I think Aaron Glenn brings instant energy and also credibility. I mean, not only did he play for the Jets, he was actually also a scout, I believe, early in his post-playing career, I think in 2012. And he slowly worked himself up the coaching ranks. And I think, if anything, right now, whether they bring Aaron back or not, I'm probably in like the 1% that believe that they should bring Aaron back. I mean, what's your other option? The roster is good. It's good, and I think having cohesion with everyone on that offensive line for another year is good. And I think they'd bring back Devontae. They'd have to, because he's under contract. So I think if Aaron's willing to kind of like actually play by the rules and, because I do think they pandered to him way too much and that they lost the roster because of him at times. But at the end of the day, I do think he brings credibility. I do think he's going to bring a culture which they didn't have. I think Saleh was trying to build a culture, but it was just so undisciplined. And we always had those back-breaking penalties. We had so many penalty yards. Whereas you can just tell Aaron Glenn is much more – he's such a disciplined football coach. You can tell. Here's the thing. You don't play as long as he did in the league if you're undisciplined at a position where they just rotate you out of the league. I mean, the guy played for like 13 years.
His last year was 08.
As a corner. And he's not tall. So like that in of itself proves that he has discipline. And I would assume that should translate into his coaching style and philosophy. So, I think it's a good hire. The Mets, they're willing to let Pete Alonso go. I'm fine with that. I don't know. Like, I'm so happy Steve Cohen's like sticking it to Scott Boras and being like, no, because your player, this guy's just like not worth what you're asking. Just like how for some reason he said that Alex Bregman should get $300 million. Like, what? No. So yeah, bring Pete back on like give him like an opt out after every year for like 4 years. I'm fine with that. But
one thing before we get into the show, I have learned one thing, that there are people who just joined the internet this week. So we've been on this path of uploading a YouTube short on the main YouTube channel every day this month, and it's been wildly successful. And I posted like 2 days ago the video before the 2017 Super Bowl, the best Super Bowl of all time, in my opinion. And I know it's a soft topic for you, but you can agree that Super Bowl rocked regardless. Kobe Bryant doing the Fly Eagles Fly chant. And it was the anniversary of Kobe and Gianna's passing. So I posted, I was like, this is a cool little tribute. The Eagles are getting ready to play. It's going dummy viral on our YouTube channel. It has 14,000 views. Someone just posted on it when we started recording. How? If he was dead, how did he play and help them win? Excuse me?
Oh gosh.
Are we that dumb?
There should be I have a theory, and I know you both will agree with me. everyone should have to take a driver's test every 10 years.
Agreed. 100%. That is one of my biggest. I pound the table for that one.
There are certain people that should not be allowed to use electronics for the betterment of society.
I also got a comment on there.
Whoever commented that, that's one of them.
At TJ_McQueen. You know what I have to say to him, Ben? Ka-chow. There was somebody else who posted on that video and said, "Is this real?" What? People are insane. I just had to share that with the masses. Also, breaking news, Jupiter Lynx beats Boston Common in overtime in the TGL, baby. We'll talk about a new limited partner with Jupiter Lynx later on in the show, but I think that's the first overtime in the TGL, if I'm not mistaken.
I dig it.
So shout out to Tiger, beat Rory. Let's get into it.
Get in the Hole is brought to you by PHI Apparel Company, our incredible merch partners. PHI Apparel Co. provides unique designs and high-quality clothing from t-shirts to hoodies for every golfer around. With their original designs for all, there's no doubt you'll stand out on the course, the driving range, or at the 19th hole. Go to phiapparel.co and use code UNDERGROUND at checkout for 10% off any order. That's code UNDERGROUND at phiapparel.co and grab exclusive Get in the Hole podcast merch and support your favorite golfers.
Welcome on into the Get in the Hole podcast, the official golf podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. I am not Steve. I am KB, joined by the one and only Ben Pirro, and up in the corner, Intern Ethan, bringing you everything from the PGA Tour, the LPGA, LIVGolf, the golfing world, everything you need. It's on this show. Before we get into it, make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. It helps the show continue to grow. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That's where you get this show every single week in video form. We are at 943 subscribers on the channel right now. We're trying to get to 1,000 before the big game kicks off on February 9th. Let's make that happen. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section. Click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. And, of course, guys, we got to talk about our friends at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game, from sunglasses to blue light glasses to prescription lenses. Tomahawk Shades has you covered. They're giving you quality eyewear for a fraction of the big eyewear companies. There's no need for you guys to go around spending $700, $800, $900+ on a pair of sunglasses when Tomahawk Shades is providing you a better quality for a fraction of that price. Go to tomahawkshades.com or download the Tomahawk Shades app in the App Store, Google Play Store. And when you go to checkout, use code USP for 25% off your next order at tomahawkshades.com or in the Tomahawk Shades app. Once again, that's code USP for 25% off your next order from our friends at Tomahawk Shades at tomahawkshades.com or in the Tomahawk Shades app. We teased a little bit with Jupiter Lynx beating Boston Common in the TGL tonight in overtime. First topic on the docket is the TGL. And Ben, I'm happy to see you've come around on the TGL, knowing that it could be a mainstay. Now, what we're going to talk about is a little interesting with the viewership drop-off, the first drop-off we've gotten coming in week 3. Week 1, the debut gets 919,000 views. The Tiger debut in week 2 surpasses 1 million by a little bit. And then week 3 drops off to 682,000. I'm intrigued to see what the numbers are tonight with Tiger versus Rory when that all comes out. But do you think the drop-off in TGL viewership is going to continue, or is this drop to like that 680 to 750 range is where I'm going to put it? Kind of just like things leveling out to like the average of where this will land. Week 1, it gets the boom because it's the first time. Tiger's debut going to get a lot of viewership. Then you get week 3 with not a lot of massive names. But will we see that jolt? I think we will with Tiger versus Rory. That's your marquee matchup. That's a heavyweight fight right there. But I think if you get in that 682,000 to 750, maybe push 800,000 week over week in year 1 of this thing, and I know you guys have talked about it. I talked with Steve about it off pod. The marketing wasn't necessarily there. They had the delay with the facility they were using, obviously with the hurricane and everything. So like, all that being said, I think if you're landing in that sweet spot of that 680 to 750, 800, that's not awful for what the product is, and it being year 1 on a Monday, Tuesday night situation. You're getting viewers, and it's not like it's completely tanking. And I've seen more people that I follow that aren't necessarily in the golf space talking about, oh, I'm tuning into TGL, like I could get into this. I think that's a huge win, is if you're bringing in the casual fans.
Yeah, I mean, I was skeptical for sure about the TGL. There were just some things I maintained that it was strictly a reaction to LIV, because LIV was golf but loud and this is golf but tech. There were just, and it's funny how the PGA Tour came around with the PIP, the TGL, the elevated events in response to LIV. And so it was clearly, in my opinion, it was really a knee-jerk reaction. Their marketing for it, I didn't really think was that great. I don't think marketing is really, I don't know. I know it's Tiger and Rory. I feel like it's more Tiger's baby than Rory's, though. It's
Agreed.
just tells me.
At least in the initial, like,
yeah. Well, especially just because Tiger's playing days they're numbered. We're aware of that. Rory still plays, obviously. He's in the back end of his prime. And so Tiger is not really a great marketer. He wasn't, in my opinion, a very good marketer for Sunday Red. I didn't think like him going on Kimmel, I think it was. I didn't really think it was the right route. Someone said, I didn't even come up with that. Someone said that, actually. It might have been John Middlecoff. And John Middlecoff, I think it was him. He said, he's like, you need to go on like podcasts, because like this is more like a younger person's kind of brand, and you're going on Kimmel. Like, I don't really think that that's the audience that you should, that's more of an older audience, I feel like. Regardless, though, and so that's why I was so skeptical, just because it's like it's indoors and like it's guys hitting into a simulator, it sounds like, and like and the facility's very cool, and obviously it proved me wrong. I have no problem being proved wrong ever. So like, prove me anytime I say something, prove me wrong. I don't care. I like being wrong, and I'm happy I'm wrong, because this is, like you said, this is bringing a different audience to golf. Okay, this is bringing more of the casual fan, because the casual fan enjoys playing. They don't enjoy watching the Sony. They don't enjoy watching the Amex. They don't really enjoy watching the Farmers, right? Like, it's just, and so look, anytime Tiger plays, the numbers are going to be much greater because it's Tiger Woods. He is really the only person that can truly move the needle. And at the end of the day, it's kind of like the NBA with LeBron. Once LeBron retires, they're in a world of hurt as far as viewership, and they already are. And I really do believe it's the same for Tiger as far as the PGA Tour goes. But I wouldn't be surprised, Tiger versus Rory, if this hit 1 million viewers this week. I would not be surprised. I think it's going to be a big week. If they can continue to hover around, like you said, the upper 6s, the low 7s, maybe even touch the 8s every once in a while, meaning 600, 700, 800,000, I think that that's good. My only cause for pause is because it's new and because it's the first season. How sustainable is this? The Miami Marlins when they built their new ballpark, I'm not sure if you know this, back in 2012, they were actually like in the middle of the pack as far as attendance goes.
Mm-hmm.
Historically, no one ever goes to Florida Marlins or Miami Marlins games. And then the next season, it was back to where they historically were, which is like 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. So I do think as long as Tiger does it and plays and participates, I think that this will be a success. I just significantly worry, though, and I never wish. I want to be clear. I never have, and I never will wish injury on anyone. But it's a serious cause for concern because he's been injured so much. What if he has another back surgery
Mm-hmm.
and he misses a whole year? Can this league survive without him participating for a whole year? And so I think that's I like that it's bringing in new people, but the longevity of it is really tied to Tiger, which is also tied to Tiger's health, which is such a wild card. And it concerns me. It does. I feel like that is a valid point, but I am very happy it's doing well for sure. I mean, it's a cool setup. It's a very cool setup. I mean, like the funniest moment from Tiger's debut was honestly, like the highlight for me was watching Kevin Kisner just absolutely nail the middle of the golf ball and nail the flagstick. That was absolutely hysterical to me. But yeah, I do think the first year, I do think that we could see we're going to see some really good numbers. It's just this is all tied to Tiger. That's just how
Here's where I'm going to be super intrigued numbers wise, because I just pulled up the full schedule for the season. So there's another matchup tomorrow, Boston, LA at 9:00 on ESPN. Here's where I'm intrigued. We got President's Day full slate Monday, 1:00, 4:00, 7:00. And then Tuesday is like your prime time standalone, and that involves Tiger. So you get a full President's Day slate when everybody's off from work for the most part on the Monday on ESPN at 1:00 and 4:00. You've got Atlanta, LA, Atlanta versus the Bay, and then 7:00 is the Bay versus Boston on ESPN2. That is going to be fascinating to me because that's also the first weekend after football. So there's no like Super Bowl, there's no NFL playoffs or anything. Like that's the first weekend after the Super Bowl. So you're setting up on ESPN to have a full day of the TGL going on a day where most American viewers don't have to go to work. That's the numbers I want to see. Because I think that could be really fascinating, one end of the spectrum or the other, of how well viewership does. And then the next day is Tuesday night at 7:00 with Tiger playing, which is going to be awesome against New York.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, look, like I could totally, I think it's interesting. I could totally see this working out now that we have the first 3 weeks numbers at our disposal. And I could see them creating more facilities, which I think would be great actually for other communities, because anytime you have it's like with the A's leaving Oakland, it's like all those people are losing their jobs, right?
Yes.
It's horrible for the community, right? And so if you bring something to, say, I don't know, Scottsdale or Northern California, maybe like in Oakland, I think that could be good. Obviously it wouldn't supplement everything because working for the A's and all those different departments is much different than just working for the TGL facility. Like, numbers don't add up, obviously. But I do think like if they could make this to the point where it actually is big and they can have multiple facilities, it would also benefit those communities that it's in, because then it gets people to work. You're able to hire different people, and it allows those communities to thrive. Because anytime you have a sports team go to a city or an area, the area always does well, and that's really like part of the marketing aspect of it, of trying to build a new stadium. Like that's what Steve Cohen's doing with Citi Field. Like he has plans to build up the area around Citi Field as well. It's not just a ballpark in the middle of a parking lot in Queens, you know? And so I think that could be something down the line if this is successful and if there is serious like longevity, that could be a serious plus that I don't think people are talking about.
And I think that's smart by you too, because I think the big thing for me, looking at how the TGL is set up versus LIV, and obviously it's like the team type of aspect, Americans are always going to be driven to find some sort of rooting interest if there's a team aspect behind it. That's just our nature. It's what we grow up with the major four sports and any, expansion type of sport that comes along that we find, interesting to us. With this versus LIV, where LIV is teams, obviously, and you have, your range goats, your crushers, stuff like that. There's no affiliation to an area with those teams. With the TGL, you have Boston, New York, LA, Jupiter Links is obviously in Florida. Like you have Atlanta, you have cities or, communities or areas to kind of attach yourself to. And you want to see those teams do well because it's not necessarily the players that are on that team per se. It's you're affiliated with a home city. And I've seen a lot of that with the Premier Lacrosse League and covering that, and with the PLL flipping last season to go to home cities. You saw people who were rooting for, certain teams. And then as soon as they were placed in home markets and your home market gets a team, you're flipping to that team and rooting for that team. I was a fan of the Redwoods, still love them, still a big fan of their entire organization. But as soon as you put the Philadelphia Water Dogs in my backyard, I'm going to support the hometown team because I want to see the teams that I support do well, my hometown squad do well. So I think that's an upper leg that TGL has over a LIV team aspect where you have people that can just connect based on home market alone, and they don't even have to be based there. They just see Boston, they see Atlanta, they see LA. I want to support that. I can get merchandise that has my home market on it. I'm going to gobble that up. That's a huge upper leg, in my opinion, that the TGL really took advantage of. And I like you bringing up building other facilities, because if this thing continues to grow, potentially you add more teams. You can have a facility on the West Coast, have a facility on the East Coast. You create conferences or divisions or something like that. You're competing for conference titles in the TGL, and it just builds it out to be. And I'm sure there's already internal discussions about it. We have no idea, but I would be shocked if there's not.
Yeah.
And you build it out and it becomes, this 3-month, 4-month spectacle that brings in the casual golf fan simply because it's attached to a home market.
No, look, I completely agree. And, it's funny you bring up, I think, so I went to the PGA Tour Superstore Wednesday. Literally as soon as you walk in, like the Jupiter team, they have merch all over. Like as soon as you walk in. I don't know. I don't see, now granted, it's PGA Tour Superstore, so they're not going to be, they won't be selling LIV gear, right? Like, they can't. But I don't know, you don't see that with LIV. And I think the difference as well with the TGL and LIV, what the TGL did right is they got on ESPN. Whereas LIV, they didn't have a serious TV partnership until now, finally, which is Fox, which I think I might have predicted a couple years ago. I'm like, Fox should probably go after them, even though Fox isn't really that well known for golf. They didn't do a good job with the U.S. Open, so that's why it's no longer in their hands. But yeah, I think either I came up with it or Colin Cowherd came up with it, probably because he works for Fox. But I do think TGL, with all the question marks that I had for sure, a lot of them have been answered. Now it's just about longevity. How long can we keep this train rolling? So, and a lot of it just comes down to Tiger. But I do think, though, in the grand scheme of things, this has the potential to be a very big thing. and it could positively impact communities because then it gets people to work, not only just in construction, building the facilities, but also employees of the facilities as well. That's a big deal. And so, I think I'm not going to say the sky's the limit because it's indoor golf, but it could be.
There's a foundation.
There's a
already,
foundation,
which is huge,
and there is a clear vision, I think, of where it could go. I think you agree.
100%. And I'm excited to see the numbers from tonight's matchup with Tiger and Rory. Like we said, I'm excited for that President's Weekend. And I was talking to Steve. I'll have to see if he has off of work that day. I was talking, we should look at the schedule and see, like, on a Tuesday or a Monday, depending on what it is, and like us do just like companion streams for the TGL and go live and watch along with it. I think that would be a ton of fun, even if it's for the playoffs, like in March, because there's a whole playoff schedule. I think that would be a ton of fun to just kind of like give our reactions and us just shooting the shit on a live stream watching the TGL. Plus, like you said, the TGL merch, I just looked on their website, is awesome.
It's cool.
Big fan.
Very cool. Very clean. Yeah, no, they do a good job. They've done a good job.
And speaking of the PGA Tour, Steve also put in our notes, they're going to launch a new no free ads ESPN Bet alternative broadcast at 6 events in 2025, starting with the Waste Management. This has been a hot trend commodity, these alternative broadcasts that include the gambling broadcasts. I'm not surprised by it. I'm more so wondering how they're going to go about it with golf. I know golf's a huge sport to bet on, but with the pace of what golf is, it's not like baseball or basketball or football where, you have a little bit of time to kind of talk and then another play happens, or, you're constantly going. Golf, there's a lot of time in between and they're bouncing back and forth from different players and everything. So that's more so what I'm intrigued by with this alternative broadcast, and a smart move for them to start with the Waste Management, obviously. But that's what is just the execution of what this broadcast is going to be like, and if it's going to be entertaining to the gambling audience.
I think if they could set it up like an NFL Red Zone. So, NFL Red Zone, it's just like they show you whenever there's a score, like 55-yard field goal, they're gonna show it. I think if they could set it up like that, where you're just, and they kind of do this on tour, like they only show you the good golf, which is really a shame because it just like warps your perception of what golf is, which is not perfection at all.
Right.
But if they could set it up kind of like literally like NFL Red Zone, and if you could just like say hypothetically like Justin Thomas just made 2 birdies in a row, you could bet on him to birdie his 3rd hole in a row. You could double down and bet on him to win to birdie his 4th hole in a row. I mean, if you could even bet on stats, I bet you could do that too. I don't gamble on golf. I'm not on tour, so technically I could, but I'm also, as you're not supposed to. Like if you're a tour player, you're not supposed to play golf. So I don't even touch it. Because the thing is, the most they always talk to us about gambling when we were at Xavier. And they always would sit down with us, and at Presbyterian, they would sit down with us and they'd say, golfers are the most notorious gamblers. And so they all would look at us. They'd say, hey, no gamble. I think they're finally really, taking it more seriously. And I do think that it could potentially bring in another crowd. It really could. So I could see that happening for sure.
Yeah. I'm just more so intrigued, like I said, with the execution of it. Imagine a Waste Management Octobox.
Oh my God.
Like a Waste Management witching hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where bogeys become birdies and birdies become losses. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I'll definitely check it out to see how it comes across on a broadcast, because some of those gambling broadcasts, like, they can be very in your face too, and they're throwing too many numbers at you all at once.
Yes.
So I'm definitely intrigued to see how like that all shakes out with that. Also here on the news, Joel Damon reportedly spent time in the offseason training with Navy SEALs in San Diego to get more, quote, mentally tough. Ben, your thoughts on somebody who approaches the game from a mental perspective, obviously.
I love this. I mean, no, hear me out. People might think this is like crazy. No, like athletes have been doing this for a long time, actually. You know, he used to train with Navy SEALs in golf. Just take a guess. He's a legend.
My gut's telling me Arnold Palmer.
Tiger Woods.
Oh, fair.
Greatest to ever do it. He was also like just infatuated with being a Navy SEAL. Gilbert Arenas actually trained with Navy SEAls one off season, and he ended up having like I think a career year because I remember I think he came up small in the playoffs. He in his mind he choked, and he literally ended up going and training with the Navy SEAL, and it completely changed his game. I know golfers who have trained with Navy SEAls. I mean, those are the toughest human beings on the planet. And I've never trained with one, so I don't know exactly what they do. But you are taught basically how to get the most out of yourself. And because there's a saying that I kind of like live by. My mental coach told me it. I don't know it verbatim, but it's when you think you've given your all, just realize you've only achieved 30% of your actual potential. So because your mind will actually take you a lot further than your body wants to. And so I think that this is great. I think Joel Damon is one of the toughest players on tour because he ended up keeping his card right on the number at 125, I believe, and he made a 6-footer for par on the last hole just to keep his card. So that being said, I do think that that's beneficial for sure. I love it. I think that that's honestly probably the coolest thing on the docket tonight. I really do.
Definitely fascinating. Now, question, Ethan, would you train with a Navy SEAL to get mentally tougher?
Ooh. I mean, if I had to get mentally tougher, yeah. Like I've seen like the training videos and everything. It's like insane. So
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd personally choose to go though. Like I got no reason.
He said not willingly. I know you would.
Oh, I totally would. You kidding me? You now watch. Someone who's a Navy SEAL is gonna see us and be like, "Yo, kid, come out with us."
Ethan, you know what to do. You know what to do.
Yep.
Let's get to our shout outs of the week. It's brought to you by Acorn Hills, changing clothing with conservation. I'm looking at their website right now, guys. They've got some beautiful, beautiful clothing for the links. Before you know it, it's going to be springtime, which means summertime is right around the corner. You want to look your best out on the golf course. They got a brand new Acorn Hills script hat with the Acorn logo on the side of it. I'm going to have to cop that immediately. Started out of a dorm room in Western Pennsylvania to being featured on the Weather Channel and USA Today. We are so thrilled to have Acorn Hills as a part of Getting the Whole podcast. Go to acornhillsco.com and fill up your cart. Get everything you need for the course, for the clubhouse. Just if you want to look your best all the time with the best golf apparel out there, go to acornhillsco.com. And when you go to checkout, use code GITH15 and you'll get 15% off your next order from our friends at Acorn Hills. Again, that's code GITH15 for 15% off at acornhillsco.com, and look your best from the ground up. Ben, we start our shout outs tonight with a shout out to Harris English, who earned his 5th career victory and first win since 2021 at the Farmers over the weekend in an event that featured howling winds, a spreading case of the flu, and just the second winning score to not hit double digits in almost a decade. The last time was Brant Snedeker at -6 in 2016. Just a wild circumstance. My betting card from last week when I filled in for you went to shit because of that widespread flu panic that hit this event. But talk about that dog mentality. Harris English just grinded through, battled it out, and comes away victorious.
Yeah, I mean, look, we had 16 WDs from the flu. Ludwig played. He shot 900 in the first round and finished at +3 for the event. This is the first time in 55 years that 2 amateurs made the cut. A performer is Luke Clinton, who just continues to just dominate as an amateur at pro events, and Jackson Couvin. Clinton just 2 points away from earning his tour card via the PGA with his made cut. We also have a pace of play issue. The final group took 5 hours and 29 minutes to play. Dottie Pepper even noted it's a problem on the broadcast. Yeah, no shit, it's a problem. It's been a problem forever. At the end of the day, if you want to fix it, you're not going to change something if you don't change your approach. Okay, so if you have something that you want to fix in your life, doing the same thing over and over that got you to that point isn't going to change. Okay, we've tried the implementation of, you have 45 seconds to the shot, or you have 55 seconds. I don't even know what it is at this point. No one seems to know what it is. And no one seems to enforce the rule anyway. Have the shot clock. It's not that hard. Have someone follow every single group with the clock. You put it right next to the ball. I don't care. And it's like, you got 40 seconds or 50 seconds. Go. I cannot believe in 2025, this is like what we're talking about. I mean, for Christ's sake, like, they sped up baseball games by like 25 minutes. And I was like, oh, geez, like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, it might take away from some of the aura. Like, I mean, geez, like, you got Bryce Harper walking up and like, like in a playoff game, like the atmosphere is unbelievable. And in reality, it's like, it actually helped the game. It really did. Like, I went to a game with Steve this year and I was like, holy shit, like, we're already done? Like, that was crazy. And so why can't we get people to why can't we get the PGA Tour to implement this? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't know what the dilemma is. Maybe they just I don't know how they feel about implementing the rule during the year. Probably not something that they would do. Probably have to wait till next year.
Mm-hmm.
But oh gosh.
It's another reason why I think casuals are tuning into the TGL.
That's quick. Yeah.
It's fast.
Yeah, absolutely. I think didn't Ricky Fowler say the shot clock? Wasn't that one of his things?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I wonder if, because obviously like the PGA is in tandem with the TGL, I wonder if they use things they want to try on the PGA Tour with the TGL and try to implement them, like kind of how they do like the things in minor league baseball. And then it's like, oh, if it works, we bring it up to the majors. I wonder if they potentially end up using some things like that in the TGL. Oh,
I wouldn't be surprised. Not at all. No way. I would not be surprised at all. I think that would be a great idea. I mean, geez, you could do it on the Corn Ferry Tour. The Corn Ferry Tour, I've heard they're very much by the book, though. Like, they're very much by the book with pace of play out there. So I don't know. You have to try it on the TGL. I mean, clearly they're trying it because they are using the shot clock from what I've been told. Yeah. So that would be nice. That would be really nice.
Would be nice.
And then your days aren't so long. Your days are screwed. You
don't get play suspended by the sun going down.
Darkness. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable to me.
Our next shout out goes to a South Jersey legend, born in Vineland, nicknamed the Millville Meteor, his golf course right down the street from my house, and that is Mike Trout. top MLB outfielder and known Eagles fan. He was at the game on Sunday. Has signed as a limited partner with Jupiter Links Golf Club in support of Tiger's team. I wonder how this ties in, because obviously Tiger is the designer of Trout National, and Tiger and Mike have been very close since that golf course has started to get built. I wonder how much this expands upon what they do together, but I also wonder how much, you see somebody like Mike Trout get invested in the TGL, and obviously we've seen like Steph Curry and a whole bunch of other big names. I wonder how many more opportunities this opens for not only existing teams, but potential teams in the future with the TGL, and seeing like, oh, there's opportunities for me to get in on this as a business venture. Let me sign on here. I wonder if it piques the interest now that somebody as big as Mike Trout is invested in the TGL.
I mean, look, I think that makes sense. I think that who, that was a debate in the office. I still don't know what's right. Is it who or whom? Do you know what it is, Ethan? Do you know what it is? I was a finance major.
It's whomever.
So whomever.
Whom? Yeah.
Thank you, our lovely intern. Whomever decides to invest, I would think that they would have some sort of background in golf. Like Mike Trout, he's just like an insane athlete. Like, I'm sure he plays golf in the off season. Like, I saw him hit that ball on video at Topgolf, and that thing was just sent to the moon. Steph Curry, he's had some sponsor exemptions into Corn Ferry Tour events, so that's someone who I think would be very interesting to go after. Hear me out. And I don't know how into it he would be because of his personality. J.R. Smith could be a pretty good. Hear me out. I think.
Yeah, because didn't he play at college? He went to college for golf.
Yeah, a year.
Yeah.
So he played for 1 year.
That would
Hear
be
me
pretty
out.
sick.
Hear me
actually.
out. Hear me out. What if a team was risk worthy enough to sign J.R. Smith as a player?
Oh, Jesus, no. Have an amateur team?
Or something like, he's in your system or whatever. Like, if it got to that point, I could see that being an avenue where J.R. Smith plays professionally, air quotes for people just listening on audio, rather than him playing on tour or live or whatever it may be. That could be an avenue for somebody like J.R. Smith to get a professional tag on him and play in the TGL. I don't hate that, but I don't hate your idea at all about JR investing. I'm surprised he hasn't already.
I mean, honestly, yeah, I don't know, but I mean, maybe even I kind of make fun of this guy just because he makes a lot of money and he's really not that good at his job anymore. CBS has had to get on him about being prepared for games. Tony Romo, I mean, that could be another one. Even I don't know how much you follow tennis, but Marty Fish.
Mm-hmm.
Marty Fish is a great golfer. People don't realize he's a really good golfer. I think anytime you have an ex-athlete willing to make an investment in another sports organization, I think that that's a total plus. I mean, it's kind of didn't Marcus Colston, the guy who played wide receiver for the Saints, isn't he a part owner in the arena football team in Philly?
Yeah, he was before the league folded. Yeah, he was part of the Philadelphia Soul.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel a lot of that can bring credibility to the league, and you have all these ex-athletes running around because they do have a different perspective. They're not just business.
And even the active athletes who want to build a portfolio, somebody else that I'm shocked, and I could be wrong if they're not already. I'm shocked Kevin Durant is not invested in this.
Really?
KD and what he does with Boardroom is something that I love reading everything they do. They're invested in the Premier Lacrosse League. KD is a minority owner in the Philadelphia Union. He's got so many different business ventures on the side, and he is somebody that I feel would thrive investing in this and would be a huge partner for the TGL. I'm stunned he's not already. If there aren't already talks, I want to look at their website actually and see like who is fully invested with them, because Kevin Durant makes far too much. Like, this is right up his like investment portfolio alley
I
of
agree.
what he gets involved with. But yeah, like that would be awesome to see, like J.R. Smith or just more people just getting invested in it and seeing how it works, you know, for them as getting behind it and what it does to draw more attention to just the league in general. And I think it's smart by Mike Trout to get involved.
I think it's very smart. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
who knows what it means for his relationship with Tiger, just continuing to build, if they build more golf courses together, you know, in the area, or just, you know,
You gotta get me out there. You gotta get me out there.
I'm
I'm
working
going
on it.
I got the list of players who are involved. If you
Yeah, who's on that list, Ethan?
we got Derek Jeter, Eli Manning, Jimmy Fallon, John McEnroy, Michael Strahan, and CC Sabathia.
And I know Steph Curry's like an investor too. With the Bay.
That's a good list. I mean, look,
Yeah.
with this, there, like we said before, though, this thing has the potential to get really big. And so, if it gets bigger and if it's sustainable, which I think it could be, I could definitely see like when Kevin Durant plays for the Suns. I could, you know, if they ever built a facility in Scottsdale, I think
Mhm.
like fucking awesome. You know, just like how like I don't know, like in Boston, like I'm sure, like how sick would it be to have like Jason Tatum as like if they have a facility in Boston, Jason Tatum as like an investor. You know, I have no idea if he like
Jaylen Brown.
whatever. All right. I'm a Nets fan. I have nothing to cheer for.
Yeah, you do.
You do have something to cheer for, because I know you're excited about this next shout out, Ben. Why don't you lay it on for the people?
I'm really excited for this. Shout out to Rick Shiels. Just before I go into this guy gets a lot of flack. I feel like, at least he used to. I don't understand why. He's always been one of the best content creators. He's always been in golf. He's always been very informative. Some of the challenges that he's done, I think, have been great. Shields signed a strategic partnership with LIVGolf that will see one of the biggest content creators in golf play a Break 75 video for all 14 locations, including shooting content alongside the LIV calendar for years to come. How big of a leap is this for LIV, who is now involved in further content outside of Bryson? So look, I think that this is fantastic. Okay, I think that YouTube golf has gotten so big. That's just what they call it now, YouTube golf. And to have someone who is so successful, who has such a large following, and is really kind of one of the OGs to do YouTube golf, I think that this is a slam dunk, because LIV needs all the exposure it can get. They basically wasted the first 2 years, I believe. I think they've been around for 2 years, maybe 3, but they've wasted that time without a true TV partnership, right? And so, I mean, geez, at first you could stream it on YouTube, I believe, and then were they with the Warner Bros? Who were they with?
CW?
CW, yeah, like, and they weren't making any money from that deal. Now that they're with Fox, and now that they have this, they're kind of covering both landscapes a little bit more. I do think that this is great. And I do think, number one, it's going to show, because a lot of people have been saying the courses on LIV are easy, with the exception. Okay, I will read that later. With the exception of like Doral in Miami, most of these courses are relatively easy, at least to the public perception. This will show actually that this hopefully will show like that these courses are hard and that these are professional golfers, because I think people, as much as Anthony Kim kind of moved the needle for LIV because he's been such a polarizing, and he's really been an enigma for the past 15 years. No one knew what he was doing. He didn't play well. And so when you sign someone like that, you need them to play well. And while it did probably draw views because it's AK and he was so good for such a short amount of time on the PGA Tour, it didn't really, it kind of fizzled out towards the end. I do believe, though, that this has the that with Shiels' platform and with what LIV wants to do, which is grow their brand, I think that this could definitely be a positive for sure.
Yeah, I think it's smart move, like, to continue with that YouTube creator golf era, because obviously, you know, you have the foreplay guys who crush it, you know, every single day of the week for Barstool, and they're doing so much with the PGA Tour and with Tiger specifically. And then you have, you know, Bryson is really your only creator, I would say, who's also part of your league. So a good move to get somebody who's not necessarily on your tour to start creating content for you. I know Ethan just dropped a whole bunch of stuff in the chat for us too, of everything else he's going to be doing.
Yeah. Do you want to read that? You go for it.
So he's going to do a break 75 where he's going to attempt to break 75 at each LIV golf venue. He's going to do a 10-shot challenge. So starting 10 under par, he'll take on the biggest stars in the league. He's going to do 5-man scrambles. So he'll join each LIV team to see how low they can score over a 6-hole stretch. And he's going to do 2v2 matches, high stakes head-to-head matches with him hosting.
That's great. I think that that's all great, actually, because not only is it just him on the camera, you're also able to see the personalities. Because one thing that the TGL is doing really well, you're able to listen to these guys kind of banter back and forth, right? And so now in like a little 2-on-2 match or a 5-man scramble, you're going to see these guys going back and forth and probably they'll jaw at each other a little bit. You know, they'll make fun of each other. And that's something that makes it so much more relatable, because it's hard to relate to a professional athlete, especially because you only see them in competition. Well, when you see them in a practice round environment where it's much more relaxed, where there's going to be money exchange, there's always going to be gambling involved, but most people don't realize it. And if you're watching it, you can't really hear them all the time, right? So they'll be mic'd up. I think this is a win-win for LIV.
Yeah, 100%. Big time, like, smart, strategic move for sure. Our next shout out, best wishes to Davis Love, as the 21-time PGA Tour winner underwent open heart surgery. And per Jim Nance on the broadcast this weekend, he is doing well. So that is a great sign. Best wishes to a speedy and healthy recovery to Davis Love. We've also got some birthday shout outs.
Oh, I want to do this one.
Go for it. Lay it on the people.
All right. This person, he will always have a special place in my heart, because not only did I get to meet him, he used to work with my old coach, Mike Bender. So on this day in 1978, the 2002 PGA Tour Rookie of the Year, Jonathan Bird, was born. Happy 47th to the man who has two of the coolest nicknames on the PGA Tour, Jay Bird and Ace. Do either one of you guys know why his second nickname is Ace?
I don't, but I'm sure you'll tell me.
Making a hole in one.
All right. Good job. Nice. He made a hole-in-one at the Shriners Hospitals for Children Open, which is now a defunct event, which is very sad for me. Like, I think that that's such a shame. He made a hole-in-one in a sudden death playoff with the sun going down damn near in pitch black darkness to win the event.
Jeez.
And save his tour card in 2010. It's one of the most iconic shots you will ever see. He didn't even know it went in. Like,
so this is the first time I've heard of this.
That's insane.
And the fact that this is
they call him Ace. That's what they call him.
iconic sounding, and the name of this show is Get in the Hole, and the fact that it's taken this long to bring that up.
Oh,
I've
definitely said it.
At least to my ears.
Yeah, I think I've definitely said it before in the pod, because every time the Shriners would come around, I'd be like, this is the tournament where Jay Bird, he holds it out 6-iron from, I think.
I got something for you.
I love, and also just one of the nicest guys ever. Just like I remember one time, like to me, one of the coolest things about being around professional athletes, like they probably meet so many, like high-end professional athletes, they probably meet so many people, right? And it's just kind of like, like I don't know, maybe for them, it's just like a kind of, I don't know, it might be like a throwaway conversation for them. I was talking to Mike Bender one day, and I was in high school. I was with my mom. I was on the range, and Jonathan was just standing behind Mike, and he came over and introduced himself. And to me, like that's just like one of the, as a kid, like that. I was like 16 probably. Like that's like one of the coolest things ever. Like because that's something as a kid that you never forget. It's kind of like I'm not going to say who I met, just to like I don't want to like put it out there, but I met a very famous athlete when I was rehabbing my ankle injury. And it was just like one of the coolest, even as a young adult, it was one of the coolest things I had ever gotten to witness, was just working out in the same gym as like one of the best athletes of all time. Like
I know who it is, right?
You might know. Don't say it though.
I'm not, but I think you told me.
I definitely did. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely did because
it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I can confirm. Pretty cool.
It's pretty sick. He even took a picture.
Come on, you gotta tell me.
That's pretty cool.
I'll text you, Ethan. We're not putting it out there. I want to save this guy face.
HIPAA.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Also, other birthdays this week. The late great Payne Stewart.
What a name! What? Just an all-time athlete name, Payne Stewart.
So Payne Stewart. He made that iconic putt, I believe, at the 1999 U.S. Open, and then he tragically passed away in an airplane crash accident. So, but one of the best moments in not only the U.S. Open but golf, him making that putt and looking at Phil Mickelson, who was about to be a father for the first time. I think it was his daughter that was I think he might only have daughters, I'm not sure, but his first child was about to be born, and he had just basically like ripped like Phil's heart out. He did on 18, and he was just like, he put his hands on his face. He's like, you're going to be a father. Like not only one of the most iconic celebrations, but also one of the most iconic moments after the celebration. So happy birthday to the late great Payne Stewart. And Akshay Bhatia, not sure how old he turns, but on Friday, he will be turning an age that we do not have here. So
I love Akshay.
I think, with Akshay, I love how he turned pro out of high school and he just leaned into it.
He's 23.
That's incredible. He makes me feel like a failure knowing that. Here I am, 26 years old, still in the mini tours, and this kid's like just dominating on the PGA Tour.
What a stud.
He is a stud. Anywho.
We will take a quick break here to have a word from our sponsors, but don't go anywhere because on the other side, we'll preview the AT&T and dish out our beer money picks of the week. But sit tight. We'll see you on the flip side. This is the Get in the Hole podcast. Welcome back in, everybody, to the Get in the Hole podcast. The AT&T is coming up this weekend, and our preview is brought to you by our friends over at 47 brand. Guys, I have been wearing 47 brand headwear for as long as I can remember. Literally in my teenage years to now, and earlier when we were scrolling through the TGL apparel and merchandise on their website. Ben, you know what brought a smile to my face? All the TGL hats are 47 brand. Absolutely love to see it. They are the most comfortable hats. They've got a plethora of styles. And if any Philly sports fans are out there listening, they got some pretty sweet Super Bowl 59 gear available to rep the birds. Check out everything they've got to offer from the NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA. I got to say this too, Ben, our former intern Brittany, now working at NASCAR. Daytona 500's coming up after the big game. Their NASCAR collection at 47 brand, even if you're not a NASCAR fan, it's just sweet gear. Like, it is all time just amazing looking gear. Use our link in the description and get free shipping on all orders when you shop with 47 brand. Again, use our link in the description. Get that free shipping on all your gear with our friends at 47 brand and join the 47 family today. Ben, the AT&T, how are we feeling going into an event where we don't know potentially all too much of players that will be participating due to that flu outbreak this past weekend? Ludwig Aberg is a game time decision due to said flu. Colin Morikawa, Will Zalatoris, and Max Homa are committed as of now. Scotty will be back this week. Jordan Spieth looks like he's playing. And I did see before we started recording, because I know Steve put in here about Xander and his rib injury, I believe Xander got clearance to return this week.
I'm not seeing the odds boards right.
Yeah, so about 2 hours ago, according to Gabby Herzig, who covers golf for The Athletic, Xander has been cleared by doctors to resume practicing following his rib injury. So I don't know if he'll be good to go for this weekend, but he is cleared to practice again, which is a great sign for him. But following the events of last week with a weak leaderboard for a lot of obvious reasons and a multitude of reasons, is this going to be kind of a wash for the second signature event of the year?
No, I don't think so. I think we have enough big names playing slated to play right now with Scotty, Rory, Justin, Colin, and Ludwig rounding out the top 5 in the odds boards, and then really in that second tier, you guys like Jason Day, Victor Hovland, Will Zalatoris, Jordan Spieth, and Patrick Cantlay, kind of in like that second tier. I do think it's going to be a very good event. The only thing with this event, this is the one event every year, with the exception of the Open Championship, where the weather consistently sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the weather's just never good out there this time of year. So that'll be interesting to follow, especially with the flu going around, it sounds like. So hopefully the golf is good this week, so people can actually tune in and watch their favorite players play.
Would be nice. Now, I do want to see, looking at this event, I think they do get a benefit, obviously, with the Pro Bowl being their main competition for their final round. And by main competition, I mean there's no big football to compete with. So I'm also curious of what the potential numbers will look like on Sunday, depending on who's still, in the running and who makes it through pending illnesses and pending withdrawals and all of that. But that's something I want Steve to find the viewership numbies on for sure once it comes out. But anything else on the AT&T before we get to our picks from you, Ben?
No, I got nothing. So it's one of the most beautiful golf courses in the world. I've never gotten to go. I've always wanted to go to Pebble. It's one, that whole Monterey, Spyglass, Pebble, that trio is just, it's something out of a movie. It really is, from what I've been told. And so I think it's like $600 to play Pebble. And I've seen videos of guys just go out there in just monsoon conditions just to play it. Like, I would have to go like during the summer or something. I would not try it during any other month. I mean, oh my gosh, no. Like that, I'd be absolutely, I get it's Pebble. I'd be miserable. Like, I think
Hole 7, I think, is the one that Jersey Jerry hit his hole in one in on the simulator.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the little downhill par 3. It's like 100 yards. Oh my gosh, Jersey Jerry.
Got the T flag sent to him from the course. But yeah, let's get to beer money. It's brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. They were out in the tailgate lots all day long this weekend, just delivering Kennies to the people. It was a beautiful sight. Go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Maryland, New Jersey, and Delaware areas. You can also get Kenwood Beer at your local liquor stores in those markets, and check out the Kenwood Beer storefront, and you can get the Kenwood Beer golf glasses that I've got right here that are absolutely exquisite. Got the game rules on the back of them. They're pretty sweet. It's kenwoodbeer.com. Must be 21 or older to do so, and please drink responsibly. Ben, let's get to it. Our top 20 for the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Who you rocking with for a top 20 finish?
All right. Some people might think this is a little out there right now, but you know what? I don't care. I'm willing to take some risks this week because Steve's not participating. He's busy at a Broadway show with his lovely wife. I'm going to go with Keith Mitchell for a top 20. Oh, yeah. Lock it in, baby.
Let's see. Where does Keith Mitchell lock in on?
Oh, he's low, which I'm a little surprised by. But he also didn't have a very good fall, so I don't know.
Plus 260 on the sports book I'm looking at here. My top 20. I'm going to do a little homage to intern Ethan. Give me Tom Hoagie at plus 210.
Okay. Our elite intern Ethan in the top right, in the top left corner.
A little Hoagie action. Top 10, Ben. Who you got?
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. That's better. A little delay there. All right, go back to sleep. Oh man, top 10. Give me Sepp Straka for a top 10.
Plus 360.
A winner earlier this year, I believe, at the Amex. Give me Sepp Straka.
I'm just gonna ride the ship like I always do. Same odds, different player. I'm gonna take Tony Finau for a top 10 at plus 360 as well. Ben, who you got for top 5?
Okay. This one's gonna piss Stephen off. All right. I'm gonna go with the defending champ to finish top 5, the Mickey Mouse title holder, Wyndham Clark. Because remember, last year this event was only 3 rounds. So yeah,
Wyndham Clark plus 800 for a top 5 finish. I'm torn here, but I think I'm gonna lean him for my winner. I don't know why he's just calling to me. So for my top 5, I'm going to rock with give me Shane Lowry plus 900.
That's a good one.
Your gimme pick of the week, Ben.
My gimme pick is I'm picking Colin Morikawa to finish top. You know what? I'm going to be bold here. Give me Colin Morikawa to finish top 5.
Okay. Let's see where he ranks. Plus 260. Not bad. Not too shabby. My gimme pick is going to be. Let's see. What do I want to do? Normally I do top 30s, but we don't have them listed just yet.
You could still do it.
I'm going to go because I like that he spoke out and called the PGA Tour players out and said, we got to come together. I'm going to go, since it's a gimme, it's not necessarily like the best, but it's still pretty solid. Top 20, Justin Thomas, minus 190.
Okay, I dig it. Okay, I'm going to go with...
And Ben, your winner for the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am 2025.
Patrick Cantlay plus 2,000.
I dig it. I
Hell
dig
yeah.
it.
Hell yeah.
I am feeling real frisky, and I'm looking at plus 4,500 odds right here. Give me old Victor Hovland plus 4,500 to get the job done this weekend.
I dig it. That's awesome.
Let's see if Ethan, you got a winner. Let's get an Ethan winner pick in the mix.
Oh, I don't have any odds in front of me here.
Pull them up. Let's see what you got, kid.
All right.
This is going to be what's awesome. If Ethan picks the winner,
I'll
it'll be
take.
so on brand for this show.
Honestly,
I'm about to. All right.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna take. I'll take Tommy Fleetwood.
Plus
Gosh,
3K.
he's going with the guy who's never won before. Okay.
Listen,
Guts.
listen.
The
it
kid's
could
got
happen.
guts.
That takes guts.
I like it. I like it.
I'm promoting you.
I like it. Plus
Well,
3K. So there you go. Ben's top 20, Keith Mitchell. His top 10, Sepp Straka. His top 5, Wyndham Clark. His gimme pick is Colin Morikawa, top 5, which clocks in at a plus 260. And then his winner, Patrick Cantlay, at plus 2,000. I've got Tom Hoagie, top 20, Tony Finau, top 10, Shane Lowry, top 5. Justin Thomas is my gimme pick to finish top 20 at minus 190. And then I got Victor Hovland at plus 4,500 to be my winner. And then a bonus pick, Ethan going with Tommy Fleetwood plus 3,000. And those are your beer money picks of the week. Brought to you by Kenwood Beer. Boys, any final thoughts before we head up on out of here and prepare for Tuesday night TGL tomorrow?
Not me, man. I'm good to go. Great episode. Steve is he missed a banger for sure. But you know what? It's okay. Steve, we look forward to having you next week. Do we know what the score is right now for beer money?
Is it in the notes? Let's see.
I completely missed it.
I do not have the scores.
All right.
So the most recent update was Steve at 15 and you were at 16. That was from 2 episodes ago.
Okay.
No updates from last week because I obviously filled in. But pretty close.
Steve's gonna be stuck in that IHOP, man. Let me tell you.
Before we get out of here, Boston, LA, TGL, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. on ESPN. Who's winning? Bonus pick.
LA.
Ethan, who you got?
Who's it between?
Boston and LA. So Boston's Keegan Bradley.
Boston.
Hideki.
Come on, Boston all the way. Rory's taking it home.
I was waiting for that.
Are you kidding me?
for that. I'm riding with LA too, Ben. I like
Boston
LA.
team.
Good.
Here's the thing.
LA's just got too much swag, man.
Here's the thing. Ethan's rooting against his guy, Tommy Fleetwood's on LA.
Hey, that's fine. He's gonna do the bad stuff on tomorrow and go out this weekend and show out.
He's gonna work out the kinks and then get ready to go.
Yeah.
Definitely pay attention to the socials because I am licking my chops at this Monday, February 17th slate. If Steve is off work and schedules line up, might just have a full day of TGL streaming with those 3 matches going on. So definitely pay attention to our socials there. Subscribe to the pod, Apple, Spotify. Follow us on all social platforms at Getting the Whole Pod. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers before February 7th, which is our company anniversary. We are so close. We're at 943 right now. And also subscribe to the Getting the Whole podcast YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@GettingTheWholePod. We're posting clips over there. Steve and I are planning content ideas for just like out and about on the course type of stuff. Some of Ben's footage as well that he's putting out. We're going to try to put on that channel as well because it's more golf specific. Just growing the YouTube channel over there as well and trying some fun stuff. So subscribe to both. The Getting the Whole YouTube is linked in the description as well. So if you need to just click on it, it's there. And this has been another episode of the Getting the Whole podcast, the official golf podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Ben, for Ethan, KB, Steve should be back next week, back to your regular scheduled programming next week. And it should be a fun one. Looking forward to our picks all being correct. And as they say in the old country, go Birds.
Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at GettingTheWholePod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at UndergroundPHI. We'll see you next time, and remember, get in the hole!